Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the eerie and controversial history of Lake Lanier, located in Georgia on the Chattahoochee River. Many believe this lake to be one of the most disputed and allegedly haunted bodies of water in the United States. Despite its dark past and numerous tragedies, millions of people continue to flock to this lake every year. Join us as we take an in-depth look at Lake Lanier, exploring its history, folklore, and the statistics that keep some visitors away while others continue to visit. Lake Lanier was constructed in the 1950s over multiple communities and cemeteries, which are believed to be the reason behind the ongoing tragic incidents. But did you know that the inception of this lake was contentious because there was no consensus on its intended use? The design and construction accounted for 56% of the $45 million budget, while the remaining 44% went toward acquiring land and forcing Black families, businesses, and churches from their properties that they had thrived on. It is now submerged land beneath the lake. During the 5-year filling process, the U.S. government obtained 50,000 acres of farmland, displaced 250 families, although some sources indicate it was closer to 700 families, and 15 businesses. They also, quote unquote, relocated 20 cemeteries during the operation. Today, divers have discovered eerie remnants of intact streets, walls, and homes resembling an abandoned ghost town on the lake bed. Expedition X, a show on the Discovery Channel, confirmed that there are still 20 cemeteries with headstones and graves at the lake's bottom that were never relocated. The descendants of the displaced populations were never relocated, fueling many tales of supernatural encounters. How eerie is Lake Lanier, you ask? Since its construction in the 1950s, there has been almost 700 reported deaths, many of which are mysterious, unexplained, and unresolved. Approximately 200 of these fatalities have occurred since 1994, and at least 27 of the victims' bodies have never been recovered. Despite this, the lake continues to attract between 8 and 10 million visitors annually, depending on the source, and generates around $5 million in revenue each year, making it the most popular corp lake in the United States, according to the Gainesville-Hall County Chamber of Commerce. But the lake's current condition poses as a serious problem due to its unintended use as a recreational lake. Over 500 boating accidents have been reported, some of which involve mysterious instances of boats catching fire, making it the most dangerous underwater surface in the United States. Discussing the haunting of Lake Lanier would be incomplete without acknowledging a dark aspect of its past, specifically Forsyth County and Oscarville. Prior to being flooded, Forsyth County, Georgia had a population of about 12,000 residents, with Oscarville a thriving Black farming community of over 1,000 people. Many of the community's residents were formerly enslaved or their descendants, and they owned their own land. The community revolved around farming, church, school, and commerce. However, in 1912, 2 white women were involved in separate incidents a week apart, with one accusing a Black man of being in her bed and the other being found beaten and raped in the woods. White civilians often resorted to terrorizing Black people for baseless accusations. This led to a mob targeting and expelling the Black community out of Oscarville. Despite this dark past, many YouTube videos tout the lake as a vacation spot complete with upbeat music and enthusiastic comments. In the 1920s and 30s, Black people were systematically displaced from their land, and it was transferred over to white people. By the 1950s, the community was predominantly white, and the value of the land was increasing as Atlanta's population grew. Eventually, The construction of a dam disrupted communities, forcing neighbors to live further apart. But as people began to embrace leisure activities by the lake, the community's grief and fear began to fade. In 1958, two friends, Delia Mae Parker Young and Susie Roberts, were driving to a roadhouse in Dawsonville when they lost control of the car and ran off the Lake Lanier Bridge. The car and the women disappeared at the bottom of the lake. Since the accident, several people have reported seeing a lost woman in a blue dress pacing around the area, missing her hands. Additionally, there are reports of a shadow figure sitting on a raft with a pole and a lantern, and creepy sounds emanating from beneath the waters. Despite its troubled history and the potential dangers, visitors to Lake Lanier still come to enjoy its waters, but some refuse to set foot in the lake or support the area's economy. Today, Lake Lanier's current condition poses a serious problem due to its unintended use as a recreational lake. Despite concrete buildings, cars, and parts of bridges being submerged in some of the deepest parts of the lake, the U.S. Corps of Engineers assured visitors that they would cause no harm. However, as the water level recedes, accidents keep happening and adding on to the debris. A Change.org petition to close the lake has been started by one individual, arguing that the economic benefits of keeping the lake open should not take precedence over the safety and value of human life. In conclusion, Lake Lanier is a beautiful but dangerous place with a dark and troublesome history. Despite its economic significance to the region, the safety of visitors should always be a top priority. If you do decide to visit Lake Lanier, be sure to exercise caution and follow all safety guidelines. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed this topic, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting and informative content. Until next time, stay curious.